The Three-Fifths Compromise was not about counting Black people as only three-fifths of a person. This is the lie that we've been sold. One of the things that happened at WIA was we interviewed Laneige Garrison. Laneige Garrison is the sister of a friend of mine from back in my college days. And she spoke about critical race theory and she just brought it home. I was just like, go ahead, Laneige. But in having some sidebar conversations with a few of the attendees, the question of history came up and why, as African Americans, we have been taught one history that says slaves were only counted as three-fifths of a person during the Three-Fifths Compromise. The African American history has been this struggle, but we never get the Thomas Sowell part of history or the Carol Swain part of history, or, people who might have had different thoughts about American history. We get a lot of the Marcus Garvey, but we don't get a lot of the other side. And so we had a pretty good discussion on that. And it made me think just about history and how, as Christians, we don't just support one narrative of history. So I've been looking into, I looked into the Three-Fifths Compromise a couple years ago when I finally understood what it was, and understanding that the Three-Fifths Compromise was not about counting Black people as only three-fifths of a person. This is the lie that we've been sold. Slaves were not actually counted as three-fifths of a person. The Three-Fifths Compromise actually said that out of all of your slaves, all of your non-free persons, we will count count three-fifths of that total number. It was actually put forth by the North and abolitionist states to help preserve the Union, but also to control the number of delegates that would serve in each state. In explaining what the Three-Fifths Compromise was, a couple of the attendees were very upset and just like, why don't we understand? Why don't we talk about the real history? Why don't people know the real history? Well, no matter what your skin color is, the ugly history and the beautiful history, like, we need to have a better understanding of our history. And so I'm not sure how many of you know about the Three-Fifths Compromise, but I would encourage you to look up the Three-Fifths Compromise, because it is something that social justice warriors use to say that, or CRT proponents or whatever, to be able to say that America was racist from the beginning. They have always been racist toward Black people. You have the founding fathers, and they didn't even think of you as being a full person. Well, that's not true. When you read the wording, it clearly says these persons, non-free persons. So it was never about not counting people as being fully human. It was actually about trying to preserve the Union, one, but not allowing the South to have so much control that they would be able to continue slavery beyond its extended time, the time that it was there. Yes, abolitionists are the ones who advocated for the Three-Fifths Compromise so that there could be some kind of inroad to the stopping of slavery. But this isn't what we hear. This is not what we hear at all.